Okay, let's get into your reading, Gemini. Oh my God. I honestly don't even know how to begin this reading. I think this is the first time this has really happened. But I'm telling you, you are being seen as a saint in people's eyes. You are being seen as an angel in people's eyes. And I want you to actually breathe for a second before we go any further, loves, because I know a title like this one can feel almost overwhelming to sit with. Mind blown, rushing in, nervous. I chose those words carefully because that is genuinely the energy sitting on this table tonight. People are looking over the things that you do, the work you do, how kind you are, your character, your integrity, and they are seeing you as just the most pure human. And I need you to know that with the Three of Pentacles, they see you as someone really powerful. They see you as someone that they really respect. And I want you to actually sit with that for a second, loves, because being seen this clearly after however long you felt invisible is not a small thing. This is not a passing compliment floating by. This is people finally catching up to something that was true about you the entire time. Some of you have spent years quietly wondering if anyone actually noticed the effort you put in, the late nights, the small kindnesses nobody thanked you for, the times you chose integrity when cutting corners would have been so much easier. None of that went unnoticed by the universe, even when it felt completely unseen by the people around you. The Three of Pentacles. And I'm telling you here, there is someone here, okay, that you may have been trying to get the attention of, or you've had a connection with this person. And let me just tell you, this person is going to come rushing in. The Three of Pentacles, this person is going to come rushing in towards you. They are going to want to progress things with you, move things along with you. They feel so connected and so drawn to you. And not only that, they just feel that you have the energy of someone that they have never come across in their entire life. You have and give so much positivity, okay? And so that's the energy that I'm really seeing here. And I want to explain why rushing in matters so much here, loves, because the Three of Pentacles is a card of collaboration, of skilled hands building something together, not one person carrying the whole weight alone. This person isn't wandering toward you casually. They are moving with intention, with a clear sense of what they're building and who they're building it with. Whatever hesitation or distance existed before, loves, it is dissolving quickly now, faster than you might expect. I want you to claim this. I want you to comment down below. I am exposed, okay? I am exposed like this reading. Make sure you subscribe and you comment down below. Now, when I say exposed, I don't mean that in a negative way. I don't mean that in a terrible way. I mean that in a very pure way, in the sense that your energy is being opened up to people, right? People see you for who you are. People appreciate you for who you are. Your kindness is exposed. Your generosity is exposed. If you felt overlooked, you are now being seen for who you truly are, and people will see the hard work that you put in without you constantly having to express and show that to people and be like, hey, look at the hard work I do. You don't have to do any of that anymore. And I want you to feel the relief in that, loves, because so much of your energy has probably gone into quietly proving yourself over and over to people who should have already seen it without you needing to point it out. That chapter is closing. The proving is over. The seeing has already begun. And I want you to notice over these next few weeks how much lighter it feels to simply exist as yourself without the extra effort of trying to be understood. They will come to you. They will progress towards you. They will make things work for you, with you, and to you without you having to do anything. Like you can literally do what you need to do and they will come to you. And it is so, so powerful, and it is so, so strong because you can do what you need to do. And I think that is so, so powerful that you can just be yourself and people appreciate you for who you are. So let me just tell you something. Your energy and your soul is awakening. And awakening like this, loves, doesn't happen quietly in the background while nothing else changes. It ripples outward. It touches your work, your friendships, your finances, the whole shape of your life all at once. The Death card. Gone are the days, okay, of people just shutting down towards you, not paying enough attention to you, not being kind enough to you, or not really seeing you for who you are. Gone are those days. I am sorry. Bye-bye. Go, go, go. Those days are absolutely gone. The Death card here really goes to show that those days are 100% gone, where you were just overlooked. Okay, now you're going to be overbooked. People will want to be around you. People will see you for who you are, and they will appreciate you. And I want to sit with the Death card for a moment, loves, because I know that card can look frightening on the surface, but death in tarot has never meant a literal ending in that sense. It means transformation, a full closing of one chapter so a genuinely new one can begin. And this transformation isn't happening to you slowly, quietly over years. It's already well underway, and it's moving faster than the old chapter ever did. They'll be like, oh my God, you are such an amazing soul. I want to be friends with you. I want to be with you. I want to make things work with you. I want to live life with you. You know, you're going to have people that do that and come towards you like that, especially, okay, if you've had a specific person on your mind, a specific person romantically that you were connected to that you want to be with. I really feel like this person is going to come forward and there is a transformation. Okay, the Death card is death and rebirth. There is a rebirth taking place in the sense that people see you for who you are and your energy and your soul is just so much more opened and there's just not as much chaos and conflict and trauma and trouble. There's just so much more of this openness in terms of energy, and there's just so much understanding and so much more peace overall. And I want you to really feel that word peace, loves, because after a long stretch of confusion and being misread, peace is going to feel almost unfamiliar at first, in the best possible way. And I also want to say something about the phrase angel in people's eyes, loves, because that language wasn't chosen carelessly. Angels, in most traditions, aren't celebrated for grand gestures. They're recognized for quiet, consistent goodness, for showing up in small ways that add up to something enormous over time. That is exactly the pattern being reflected back at you tonight. And I want to sit with rebirth a little longer, loves, because it's a word that gets used a lot in readings without always being explained. Rebirth doesn't mean becoming a completely different person overnight. It means the parts of you that were always there, your kindness, your integrity, your quiet strength, simply stop being hidden under other people's inability to see them. You're not transforming into someone new. You're finally being allowed to be fully who you already were. And I want to name something that might be sitting underneath all of this for some of you, loves. A specific kind of grief for the years spent unseen. It's okay to feel that grief even while also feeling excited about what's coming. You're allowed to mourn the version of you who tried so hard to be understood by people who simply weren't capable of it yet, while also stepping fully into this new chapter without guilt. Both feelings can exist together, loves. The relief and the grief, and neither one cancels out the other. Give yourself permission to feel both fully as this transformation continues to unfold. The Nine of Pentacles, especially with the Nine of Pentacles, there's this sense here of independence and fulfillment, and people seeing you for this strong, amazing, kind, beautiful person that you are, and seeing you for the work that you put in, the kindness that you have, the generosity, and very little ego. And I want to add one more layer to the Nine of Pentacles here, loves. Because independence in this card is not about being alone. It's about being whole on your own terms before anyone else arrives to add to that wholeness. The fulfillment you're being shown was never contingent on someone else finally noticing you. It was already yours, quietly, the entire time. And I want to name why very little ego matters so much here, loves. Because it's rare in a world that constantly rewards showing off to find someone who simply does good quietly. Your goodness was never performed for an audience. And that quiet consistency is exactly what people are finally noticing now, the same way people notice a steady flame in a room only once the noise around it settles down, and just really appreciating you wholeheartedly and wanting to be around you, wanting to make things work with you, wanting to live life with you, wanting to be with you, wanting to progress things with you, and really just wanting to appreciate you wholeheartedly and thinking the world of you as well whilst doing so. So there's a beautiful energy here of respect, of understanding, and really just appreciating you wholeheartedly. The Four of Cups. Okay, Four of Cups here is really, really powerful because the Four of Cups shows that this person, may have been rejecting you or really just keeping to themselves, kind of being in their own world. Like, look at that person, how they're in their own world, and there's this cup coming to them, but they don't care because they're in their own world. There's this very powerful energy that people have been sort of in their own world and you've been trying to kind of show that you're there and they just don't care. Okay, that rhymed. But that's kind of what's been happening. And now you're like, okay, well, whatever. And I want to say one more thing about the Four of Cups here, loves, because it's worth understanding fully. The figure in this card is often shown with arms crossed, a cup already offered sitting right in front of them, completely ignored. That image describes exactly what it felt like being on the receiving end of their distance. You were offering something real and it simply wasn't being received yet. And I want to acknowledge how frustrating that specific chapter was, loves, trying to be seen by someone who had simply closed themselves off. It wasn't about your worth. It was about them being turned so far inward that even something good sitting right in front of them couldn't reach them yet. And I want to be honest, loves, that kind of quiet rejection stings in a specific way because it isn't loud enough to be an obvious wound, and yet it still leaves one. But also at the same time, you don't even have to do anything. Your energy is just open, in that sense. An open energy, loves, has its own quiet gravity. It doesn't chase. It simply draws things back toward it on its own timeline without you having to lift a single finger. And it is showing, and your soul really just being seen for what it is, okay? The Eight of Pentacles and the Three of Cups. Very powerful, very beautiful. And I'll tell you why. Because people are going to start to really see you for who you are. Just understand that friendships are going to develop. There's going to be a real sense here of harmony, joy, people wanting to be around you, people wanting to celebrate with you. And also with the Eight of Pentacles here, there's a lot working for you in your favor. Finances are going to improve. People's energies and attitudes towards you also improve. If you've had toxic situations in family or work or love, it improves, okay? And I want to expand on the friendships developing piece too, loves, because the Three of Cups often shows up alongside real, lasting bonds, not just surface level acquaintances who come and go. The people arriving in this season are the kind who stay, who show up consistently. The kind of friendships that actually last for years, not just a passing moment. And I want to sit with that word toxic for a moment, loves, because I know how heavy that kind of environment can feel day after day, the way it wears you down slowly without you even noticing it happening. The Eight of Pentacles is steady, patient, hands-on work, and it's showing that the effort you've quietly put into these situations wasn't wasted. It's finally starting to pay off in ways you're about to actually be able to see with your own eyes, and people see you for who you are, not their projection or their triggers projecting onto you kind of situation. Like they see you for who you are. They want to make things happen with you because that's who you are, if that makes sense. Like they like you and they appreciate you for who you are, truly. And it just allows everything to move really, really nicely. And I want to gently name one more thing here, loves, because it deserves its own moment. You are never asking too much simply by wanting to be understood correctly. Wanting people to see your intentions clearly, rather than through the lens of their own baggage, is one of the most reasonable things a person can want. It was never too much to ask. And I want to say something here about being seen without a filter, loves, because so much of your life may have been shaped by other people's projections, their insecurities, their past hurts, their own triggers, all landing on you like they were somehow yours to carry. That was never fair, loves. You were never responsible for repairing wounds you didn't create. And that season, that specific weight, is closing right along with everything else. I'm telling you, everything just works out so, so nicely and so, so beautifully without you having to worry, stress, panic, It just comes together really in a very fulfilling way that makes you feel genuinely very excited. I need money. And then we have here, I need money. So it's interesting, I just feel here that there's a sense that maybe you want to work more towards your career. You want to work towards more in terms of earnings. And it is the time now where things are absolutely working out for you in your favor, because if you want a new job or you want to set up a business, it's a great time, because whatever it is that you need financially is working out for you. People see you for who you are. Therefore, opportunities are just opened at this time. And I want to add one more small detail here, loves. For those of you specifically thinking about starting something of your own, the Eight of Pentacles favors people who are willing to learn as they go, to build skill patiently rather than expecting instant mastery. Whatever you're building right now, even if it feels small or early, is being built on genuinely solid ground. And I want to explain why this financial shift is happening alongside everything else, loves. Because it's not a coincidence sitting off to the side of the rest of this reading. When people finally see you clearly, doors that were quietly closed to you before start opening in every direction at once. Not just in love, not just in friendship, but in your work, your income, your entire sense of forward motion. It is all one current, loves, moving in the same direction at the same time. And I want to name one more thing before we shift into the closing, loves, because I think it matters for how you carry this reading afterward. Gratitude in this specific season is going to feel different than it used to. Not gratitude for finally being noticed, but gratitude for having stayed exactly yourself the whole time you weren't. And I want to describe what this actually feels like when it happens, loves, because it won't feel dramatic or forced. It'll feel almost sudden, a message appearing after a long stretch of quiet, or a conversation shifting tone in the middle of an ordinary day. You'll recognize it because it will feel effortless, the way real alignment always does, instead of something either of you had to manufacture. And I want to talk honestly about the Four of Cups for a moment longer, loves, because I know some of you have carried real hurt from being ignored by someone whose attention actually mattered to you. That hurt was real. It doesn't disappear just because the energy is shifting now. But I want you to notice something important. The shift is happening because something in them changed, not because you finally did enough to earn it. You were always enough. They simply weren't in a place yet to see it lurking. And this message card matters, loves, because some of you are going to notice this person quietly checking in on your life before they ever say a word, a view on your story, a like on something old, small signs that someone is paying closer attention than they're letting on. Don't dismiss those small moments. They are the beginning of the rushing in you were just shown. And I want you to hold on to something else too, loves. This reading is not only about romance. It is about your entire reputation quietly repairing itself in every direction at once, in friendships that felt distant, in family dynamics that felt strained, in work relationships that felt undervalued. The exposure this reading keeps naming is not limited to one person or one relationship. It is your whole life catching up to who you've actually been the entire time. And I want to slow down on this specific point, loves, because financial improvement paired with people finally seeing your character clearly is not a coincidence worth glossing over. Think about how much energy gets spent quietly trying to prove your value in rooms that already decided not to see it. That energy, once it's no longer needed for proving, gets redirected somewhere far more productive toward the actual work, the actual opportunities, the actual growth you've been capable of the entire time. And I want to speak specifically to those of you in difficult work situations right now, loves. The ones where your effort has felt invisible, where credit has gone to people who did less than you did. The Eight of Pentacles is telling you plainly that this specific dynamic is shifting, not through confrontation, not through you finally snapping and demanding recognition, but simply through people's perception catching up to reality on its own natural timeline. And if you've been considering a career change, loves, a new job, a business idea you've kept quietly tucked away, this is genuinely one of the more supported windows you'll have for a while. The energy around new beginnings, the Eight of Pentacles specifically, favors skill building, patient effort, and yes, being seen for that effort in ways that translate directly into opportunity. And before the final message, I want to leave you with 3 small things to hold on to. Loves. The first, let people come to you now. You have spent enough time proving your worth out loud. The 3 of Pentacles and the 8 of Pentacles both confirmed this is the season of quiet, steady work being recognized without you having to announce it. Resist the old habit of over-explaining yourself, loves. It isn't needed anymore. And I want you to actually picture yourself a few weeks from now, loves, going about an ordinary day, and suddenly realizing your phone has more messages in it than it used to, more invitations, more people simply wanting to be near your energy. That moment is coming. And when it does, I want you to remember that you heard it here first. And I want to talk about what overbooked actually looks like in your real life, loves, because it isn't abstract. It's your phone buzzing more than it used to. It's being invited to things you would have quietly wondered about before, wondering if you'd even make the list. It's people genuinely wanting your opinion, your company, your presence in a room simply because you're in it. That shift is coming, loves, and it is coming for every part of your life at once, not just the romantic piece of it. And I want to say one more thing about timing, loves, because I know you're wondering, this is not a someday reading. This is a week's reading, not a year's reading. The 3 of Pentacles is already in motion, and once that first domino tips, everything else in this reading follows quickly behind it. And I want to sit with the phrase, "Gone are the days," for a moment longer, loves, because I know that phrase might feel almost too good to fully believe yet. If you've spent a long time being the one who reaches out first, who remembers birthdays nobody remembers back, who shows up consistently for people who show up inconsistently for you, then hearing "gone are those days" might feel like a relief you're almost afraid to trust. Trust it anyway, loves. The Death card doesn't offer maybes. It offers endings, clean and complete. The second, when the specific person you've been thinking about does come forward, notice the difference in how they show up. The 4 of Cups showed their old closed-off energy. Watch for it actually being gone. not just temporarily softened for the moment. Real change shows up in consistency, loves, not just in one good conversation. And the third, keep doing the quiet, unglamorous work of being yourself. The Nine of Pentacles showed how little ego this whole shift required from you. Don't start performing now just because people are finally watching. The same quiet consistency that got you here, loves, is exactly what carries you forward from here. And I want to circle back to the very beginning of this reading for a moment, loves, because I said something I want you to remember. You are being seen as a saint, as an angel in people's eyes. And I know that language can feel almost uncomfortable to sit in, especially if you're used to deflecting compliments, used to assuming people are just being polite. This isn't politeness, loves. This is people finally telling the truth about what they've quietly known about you for a long time. And I want to talk about the specific texture of this awakening, loves, because it isn't loud or dramatic on your end. You don't have to do anything differently to trigger it. You simply continue being exactly who you already are, and the world around you finally catches up to seeing it clearly. That is the entire beauty of this reading. The transformation is not something you have to perform. It's something that's already happening quietly underneath everything, whether you consciously notice it yet or not. And I also want to address something gently, loves. For those of you who have done real inner work to get here, therapy, healing, self-reflection, the quiet, unglamorous labor of becoming a more whole version of yourself, that work is exactly why this energy is opening now. Awakenings like this rarely happen to people standing still. They happen to people who kept moving forward, even when nobody was watching, even when it felt like nothing was changing at all. So if you've been in a season of healing, loves, of setting boundaries, of choosing peace over chaos, I want you to know that season is the exact reason this door is opening now. The two are directly connected. The work came first. The recognition is simply catching up to it. And I want to add a fourth thing to hold on to, loves, before we move into the final message. Don't rush to fix or explain the past to people who are only just now starting to see you clearly. You don't owe anyone a recap of everything they missed. Let your presence now speak for itself, instead of relitigating everything that came before it. And a fifth thing, loves, because I think it matters just as much as the rest. As opportunities open up financially and professionally, resist the urge to make every decision out of scarcity, the old fear that this won't last, that you need to grab everything at once before it disappears. This energy is not a fleeting window. It is a genuine shift, and genuine shifts don't require panic. They simply require you to keep showing up as yourself, steadily, the way you already have been. And I want to speak to the small, doubting part of you for a moment, loves. The one that's read this whole reading and is quietly thinking, but what if this doesn't actually happen to me? That voice is not wisdom. It's a pattern built from years of being overlooked, trying to protect you from hoping too much and being disappointed again. Just for the length of this reading, set that voice down. Let what's true land without a fight. And I want to answer one more thing before the final message. Loves, why this reached you now with this much specific detail. You needed to see the full shape of this transformation before it fully lands, so that when the small signs appear, a friend suddenly reaching out, an opportunity landing out of nowhere, you recognize it as part of this, instead of dismissing it as coincidence. Don't dismiss small signs, loves. The proof of this often arrives in fragments before it arrives whole. This is already in motion, loves. The Three of Pentacles showed them already rushing toward you. The Death card showed the old invisible chapter fully closing. The Nine of Pentacles showed your independence and fulfillment already forming. The Four of Cups showed their old closed-off world already cracking open. And the Eight of Pentacles and Three of Cups showed the friendships, the finances, and the joy all arriving together. Stay open, loves. Let it arrive. And I want to give you one more image to hold on to before we close this section, loves, because I think it captures everything this reading is trying to say. Imagine a lantern that's been sitting lit in a room for a long time, glowing steadily, while the room around it stayed dim and nobody quite noticed the light. And then one day, the room brightens, not because the lantern changed at all, but because everyone in the room finally opened their eyes. That lantern is you, loves. It always was. So let me lay this all out one final time, loves. Slowly, so it settles into your bones. You are being seen, finally, exactly as you actually are. Not a projection, not someone's trigger, not an assumption. You. And I want to say one more thing before we move fully into this closing summary, loves, because I want you to feel the consistency of everything the cards showed tonight. Card after card, every single one pointing in the exact same direction, toward recognition, toward abundance, toward peace. Readings that scatter across many different outcomes deserve real skepticism. Readings like this one, where every card agrees, deserve your trust. And I want to acknowledge one final thing, loves. For those of you who almost didn't press play on this reading tonight, I'm glad you did. Whatever pulled you here, whatever quiet instinct told you this one was worth watching, trust that instinct fully. It led you exactly where you needed to be. The Three of Pentacles confirmed someone specific is rushing toward you right now, drawn to an energy they have never encountered before. The Death card confirmed the invisible, overlooked chapter has fully, completely ended. The Nine of Pentacles confirmed your independence, your fulfillment, your quiet integrity finally being recognized. And I want to name the specific nervousness in this title too, loves, because it matters. This person rushing in isn't calm and casual about it. They are nervous. Genuinely nervous, because whatever they found out about you changed something in them quickly, faster than they were fully prepared for. That nervousness is not hesitation, loves. It's the feeling of someone realizing they almost missed something important and moving quickly now to make sure they don't miss it any further. The Four of Cups confirmed the old closed-off version of the people around you is finally opening back up. And one more small thing before we move on. Loves, keep your eyes open starting tonight. Energy like this doesn't wait around politely for a convenient moment. It arrives. And I want to expand on the celebration piece for a moment, loves, because the Three of Cups is specifically about shared joy. Toasts raised, people gathering to genuinely celebrate someone. This is not the kind of recognition that happens quietly in a single conversation. This is the kind that shows up at dinners, at gatherings, in rooms full of people who all independently arrive at the same conclusion about who you actually are. The Eight of Pentacles and Three of Cups confirmed friendships, harmony, celebration, and real financial movement, all arriving in the same beautiful season. And I want to sit with the death and rebirth theme one final time here, loves, because it threads through absolutely everything in this reading. The old version of your life where you quietly wondered if anyone truly noticed you, that version has already ended. Not fading slowly, not lingering in some in-between state, but genuinely, completely closed. And the message about needing money confirmed that opportunity itself is opening in every direction right along with everything else. And I want to leave you with one more reflection before that closing message, loves, because I think it ties everything in this reading together. You were never the problem in any of the situations where you felt unseen. You were simply early, standing fully formed in your own integrity, while the people around you were still catching up to the version of themselves capable of noticing it. They've caught up now, loves. That's the whole reading, really, said in one sentence. One message. You don't have to prove anything anymore. Let them come to you. The seeing has already begun. Claim this, loves. Drop a comment and say, I am exposed, because every word of that is true. And one last thought before we close, loves. 2 years from now, or maybe far sooner than that, you're going to look back on this exact season, the one where you still weren't fully sure people saw you clearly, and you're going to smile at how much you worried. The way we always smile at old fears, once life has finally plainly answered them. Save this. Come back and tell me everything as it unfolds. If this resonated, please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment and tell me what hit hardest. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe and turn on that notification bell. Take care of yourself. Bye, loves.